Hey guys, Brian Hill with The Complete Combatant. I've made some changes and I know you're excited. Or you're not. The Core 4 has evolved. Several things pressured this. One is the target that I was using is not readily available everywhere. So I wanted something to be easy for everybody to shoot. Second is Action Target's business model has gone to pieces this year and they can't ship on time. So I'm never sure if my targets are going to be there. So I got to carry the targets in my luggage or ship them myself. And it's just easier to have one target to deal with. And that's what I did, is got down to one target. The other thing is I want you to be able to shoot this and understand it. And this is a commonly used target, so it should be readily available almost anywhere. You can order it online. So without further ado, the USPSA target. Okay. Now, you'll notice this is smaller than the USPSA target. We don't have that extra ring out here, okay, because we're defensive shooters. This is a big target. You're getting a big advantage. I'm going to tell you what happens if you miss and when you hit. Anything in the alpha zone are these squares, and this one's got a dotted line in there, so I put a 5 above and below because somebody asked me which rectangle is worth more. Doesn't matter. Anywhere in the square counts. Line breaks count. If you can prove that the grease ring is touching the line, I'll give it to you. I don't care. If the grease ring touches my aorta, it counts too. So let's think about how we can shoot this best. 5 points, 5 points. If you shoot the Charlie or the C zone, 3 points. If you miss outside of that, you've got to immediately reshoot what you're doing, okay? And that's your only chance to do it over. If you miss after that, you're disqualified. So there's a bit of pressure. You need to know your target and its surroundings. You can't miss. So keep that in mind. Don't miss. Now, good tests always give you freedom of decision. They get you some context. They allow you to think, well, what should I do here? So let's talk about the scoring of this. We have 15 total shots. So that gives us 75 possible points. Okay? We have 4 stages that are back to back to back to back, creating a cognitive load and complexity. We also have a long stage, which is 2 reload 2, which shows up in other people's tests, just for a processing drill. Okay? Now, if I score all 75 points, then I've got to divide it by the time. So let's talk about the time. I'm going to make this big math, make it super simple. Draw and fire 2. Well, you should be able to do that easily in 2 seconds. So let's call it a 2-second drill. A bill drill, draw and fire 6. So we're going to say you did that in 3 seconds. We're at 5 total now. All right. Failure to neutralize, which is my transition drill. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. No problem. You should be able to do that in another 2 seconds. So we're at 7 seconds total. And then 2 reload 2. Let's say you did that in 5 seconds. That gives you 12 seconds total, which is a lot, guys. If you get above that, you're not going to get what you need to get at least a blue belt, 60%. So that's 12 seconds. Say I got most of the points, 75 points. Then I would divide 75 by 12. It's going to give me a hit factor number, okay? So say the hit factor comes out 4 flat. Then I multiply it by 10.5, and then that gives me the percentage score. Now, why do I do that? Because you need a percentage. You don't understand hit factor. And if I say you scored a 6.58, you're going to go crazy because you don't know what that means. You're like, why? Is that good? Is that bad? So I turned it into a percentage. Now, some of you are going to say, well, where did that number come from? I made it up to make the percentages work. Where do the percentages come from? USPSA, IDPA, other instructors' courses, and law enforcement military style. Because we know that human beings are capable of doing something at a certain speed. I have to say the competitive methodology gives me a clearer picture. So that gives me the very fast end, and usually the other drills give me the medium end to the low end of what we should do. Problem with this is you can choose to be really accurate. So you get all 75 points, but it took you 20 seconds to shoot it. Your divided score is not going to be good. Okay? And if you go fast and you try to hook up and you miss twice, you're out. Or you don't get enough points, you get 30 points, and you did it in 10 seconds, still your hit factor is not going to be good. So all this has to work together. I do give you a mulligan on each draw. So if you don't like your draw, you don't think you had a good grip, you had a fumble, I want you to do it again, but don't shoot. If you shoot, stick with it. If you miss, you get 1 chance to do it over immediately. If everything's in, you continue on. As long as everything stays in after that, you're not DQ'd. Okay? A little bit of pressure in there, a little bit of freedom of choice. You have got to choose both speed and accuracy with this drill. You have to perform performance level, and you have to earn it through accuracy, consistency, efficiency, and discipline. And that's what I'm looking for in the Core 4. So big changes. The other one is 1 second penalty total now. I made a mistake. I didn't take into account how long it takes to clear a magazine from cover and then get that out. I didn't have numbers for that because nobody really is forcing that issue. I knew that USPSA shooters at the Grandmaster level could shoot a 2.7 from a speed rig, so draw and fire 2, reload, fire 2 from a speed rig, but this hand motion of getting the mag out is really very slow. I talked to some other good instructors and friends that are working on this, and kind of came up with a number. It's probably going to cost you about a half a second to add this. If you're really good, maybe only a quarter second, so you get a little bit of advantage, but concealment is fumbling. Now, if you use a duty rig that has real retention on it, not a Serpa rig, that's not real retention, that's just real danger. But if we have a Safariland rig that you would wear and it has legitimate retention, either the hood or the thumb drive, then you don't get any penalty. But if you show up without concealment, and I don't care whether your gun's inside your waistband or outside your waistband, if you don't conceal it, when you raise your hands and I can see it, then you get a full second penalty, which is tough. It's going to make a big difference. All right, so there's another decision you can make. I would always train as I live, so I'm an armed citizen now, so I train from concealment. Okay, I hope that helps you. Don't be afraid of the math, guys. God, I just didn't know how much you guys hate math, all right? I always have to look for the math kids in class to help everybody else out. Get your calculator out. Get used to doing the math. I think a big problem is you should score your own targets always so that you understand how this works. It is easier an instructor, like I'm teaching class, for me to score it. But you don't learn anything like that. So we got to suffer a little bit. We got to do scoring. But you could practice at home and be good at this before you show up at class. All right, we'll put this all down there. We'll link it. It'll have the target, where you can get this exact target. You don't need this exact target, but it's an action target, M3 strategies. You can find it there. Or just order a USPSA target. No, you can't use the D on the outside. And you'll be good to go. Okay? I think that covers it all. I know you're going to have questions. Shoot this at 7 yards. Okay? This is a 7-yard test. 5, 3, 0. That's a DQ. Repeat. 1 chance. Okay? And I think you're set to go. And I'm sure it'll change again. All right? We'll keep evolving as time goes on. People are getting better. And I gave out 5 black belt patches total so far. So I'm seeing maybe at the high level, it's a bit easy, and at the low level, it's a bit hard, so maybe I have to massage it again. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Good scoring always evolves. Rules evolve for a reason, and since I'm a benevolent dictator, I'm going to evolve it and try to get the best performance out of you. All right, guys, I'm Brian Hill with A Complete Combatant, and remember, measure, refine, and perform.